Hey, welcome back. All right, so in this tutorial, we're going to add in the FireTrail behind our ball so that when we hit boost, it shows up, and when we run out of boost or when we let go of the boost button, the FireTrail disappears. Let me go ahead and demonstrate what I'm talking about real quick. So here in the demo level, if I hit play and then I hit my boost button, I get this little tail that shows up behind my ball. And I get that little spiral thing, some smoke. And then when I let go, it disappears. All right, so that is actually from here. I got it off of Fab under, it's called FX Variety Pack. I'm going to put this link for you in the comments section below so that you can get to it, or in the detail information section below so you can get to it and easily find it. Now you can find something else and you can figure out how to get it to work. What I'm showing you is how to set up a particle system. This is not a Niagara system, it's a particle. Two different things, they work a little bit differently, and the setup is somewhat similar, but the node is different. So we're not going to get into the Niagara in this tutorial because I want to keep this kind of shorter. We are going to use a particle system. So if you use this one, you can follow along exactly as I'm doing it, and then you can find something else that you want to replace it with if you wish, a fire. But a particle system would be easiest. In a future tutorial, I will go over some Niagara. So if you always wanted to come back later on and change this out with a Niagara system, or if you wanted to find somebody else's tutorial to figure out how to do that, you can do that too. But for this particular setup, I'm going to use this. Now, this particular person, these are actually really gigantic tornadoes, and we're going to turn it sideways and use it a little bit differently than what it shows here in the picture, but I will make sure you have access to this. Sometimes there's an option to add to project. If that is showing up after you've selected this and added it to your library, if it gives you the option to add it to your project, go ahead and use that. If it doesn't, then you may need to go to your Epic Launcher, and in your Epic Launcher, if you go underneath all of your projects, down to the bottom where it says Fab Library, and this is the FX Variety Pack. So if you type in FX Variety, it'll show up down here, and then you can click Add to Project. Once you do that, you can go through and add it to the project you want to add it to. So in this case, it's in here, trust me. So in this case, I added it to the roller tutorial right here. Okay, I've already done it to save some time, but that's the process. You'll click Add It, and then you'll add it to project. It should then add. So then it should add it into your project. And once you do that, it'll be in your content folder. And there should be a folder, if you are using the exact same one I'm using, it should say Variety, FX Variety Pack. If you go into there, you'll see you have a lot of other things in there besides just that one tornado that we're going to use. There's actually a map in here that you can open up. Just double click on it, open it up, and you can see some of the demo stuff that they have, and you can take a look at it. It's pretty cool. Of course, they also have some blueprints that you can look at. Some other things that are available, but instead of getting into all that, we're just going to go straight into work here. We're going to pick this particles. So I'm going to double click on the particles, and the one we're using is this PKY Firestorm. So if I select it, when I select it, what's going to happen is once I add a particle system to my player, it'll automatically add this to my player. So this is another way to get things into your level or into your player, or whatever you need to have it added to. So up here under components, I'm going to click add, and I'm going to type in particle, and you'll see that there's actually Cascade Particle System and a Niagara Particle System. We're using the Cascade Particle System, so if you click on that, boom, it's going to automatically add that in there. And it has zeroed it out for me, so it's right over the top of my ball. And you can see that it is much larger than what I'm using. Okay? And it's also vertical, and I'm going to make it so that it's horizontal, like a tail coming out of the back of my player. The other thing I'm going to do is I want to take this Firestorm, since it's attached to my player right now, I'm going to click and drag it and drop it onto my spring arm, so it becomes a child of my spring arm. And see how it kind of pops back there? So now it's behind my player instead of right here. Nothing's changed over here. It's still all zeroed out. But that's because the spring arm is actually centered over here, so it's centered on the spring arm location. First thing I'm going to do is I want to scale this down so I can get a good feel for what I'm working with. From what I've done with the size of this sphere, the ball, if you click the little lock right here and type in 0.25, I'm going to reduce it down to 25. And then I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it over the top of the ball. So it's kind of like that. Okay. All right. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees in the Y direction. So the green one is the Y. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. It's going to turn it up right over the center kind of my ball. I'm going to drop it down. Now we're going to have to line this up. And it looks like it might be off just a little bit, but let's see here first. I want it centered in the center of the ball. I need to drop it down just a little bit more. So I kind of get this fire going around the ball like that. So something like that. Okay, I think it's good enough. Now, the reason why we put it on the spring arm instead of on the player is because when we rotate the spring arm around, so when we rotate our view of our camera around the player, we're going to want this spring arm to move with it. There are other ways to do that, of course. We can do some programming and things like that, but this is just an easy, straightforward method for what we're going to do. And we don't need to make it more complicated than it has to be. Now, we can also rename this from Firestorm. I'm going to click on it, and I'm just going to name this FireTrail. Okay, so now FireTrail. If we take a look over here on the right-hand side for the details with FireTrail highlighted, we can scroll down and we see that we have additional things that we can do, right? One of those is right here under rendering. We have this couple choices here. It was visible and hidden in game. So if I uncheck visible, it goes away. See, just like that. The other thing is hidden in game. We can make that true or false. These are things that we can actually change inside the game itself. So let's go ahead and compile this and save it. Now, if we go into our sandbox, you'll see that that fire trail is actually visible right here on our player. Kind of cool. We can leave it like that. It doesn't really matter because eventually we're going to have our player so that when we start the game, it actually spawns into the world. And the way we'll have it set up is it won't have the tail on. It'll actually be off so that we won't see it. It'll be hidden in game. But while we're working with it right now, maybe that's a little bit annoying. Maybe you don't want to have that in the scene. So if we go back into our player and we can turn visible off, okay, and we can pilot and we're going to save it. Now, when we do that, we're going to have to take an additional step in our blueprint for our player. So select the event graph, and then remember we did this one called set player conditions. The additional step is not only are we going to have to make it so that it's not hidden when we hit the button we want to hit for it to appear, we're also going to have to make sure that we set the condition at the very beginning so that it's visible again, because if we went through all that and we didn't do the visible, it wouldn't be visible for us to see. We'll do that very last thing because I want to demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about so that if you ever run into that, you know how to fix it. All right, so I'm going to grab this player condition and I'm going to kind of drag it up a little bit, give myself some room to work. I'm going to hold the Alt button, left mouse button, click and disconnect that. So from the event begin play, I'm going to drag off and I want sequence. Okay, so type in sequence and we're going to get this node that allows us to use one event because you can only have this attached to one thing at a time, this particular event. But if we have a sequence, then we can have it do things in order. The first thing it's going to do is we're going to turn on or turn off our trail. And the other thing is we're going to then also create our HUD. And that's what this was originally for, was to set up our HUD. Okay, so with that, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make it so that we have it so that it's hidden or visible in the game. Take this FireTrail, I'm going to drag and drop it right here, and off of it, because we can set visibility in the game, we're going to just drag off of it, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to set hidden, actually, because we want to be able to turn on or turn it off based off of pushing the button for our boost. In this case, our shift button, right? Okay, and I'm going to I'll probably just set it up here out of the way. Like that. We're going to connect this in, and we want to make sure that we set it so that it is hidden in game. So this will be true. New hidden, true. We're going to set that up. And then we're going to compile, and we're going to save this. Now, I'm going to select both of these to save myself some time. I'm going to select both of those just like that. I'm going to go back over here to where we set up our boost. If we don't have enough room in here already, then you're going to need to highlight these, drag them over, kind of out of the way. We're also going to comment these separately, so you may want to just pull it off to the side as it is. Now we're going to need to set hidden. We're going to need 3 of these nodes. So I'm going to Control D here. And actually, I messed myself up when I did that. Nice job. Okay, so I'm going to do Control D here. I'm going to do another one down here. And then I'm going to do one right here at the end. Okay, and this one right here at the end, we're going to go ahead and connect it up. And we're going to leave it as a new hidden here, okay? This one, we're going to uncheck new hidden because we actually want it to be visible. We're not going to hide it. And I'm going to drag this up. I'm going to plug it in. And then over here, this one, when we let go, so basically when we push the button, we're going to start our boost, and we want to be able to see the fire trail. When we let go of the button, we want to have the fire trail disappear, right? So I'm going to drag this up here, plug this in. We'll clean this up in a second. Something like that. And then I'm going to grab all of this and hold the shift button so I can do multiple selections and select those as well. Drag all that over there. I give myself a little bit of space so I can see what's happening. So this one, new hidden. And again, here, once we run out of boost, right, this is checking to see if we have any boost remaining. Once we're at 0, our tail should turn off. So we're going to make it so that it's hidden here, okay? Now, this isn't going to be visible because we did not set visibility at the beginning condition. I'm going to show you what this looks like. You can stay here if you wish, or you want to try it out in yours if you want. I'm going to go ahead and save it. So if I go in here and I hit play, and now if I hit the boost button, I boost, but I don't see my tail. And that's because visibility is still turned off. If I had it turned on here in my player, so if I didn't have this visibility turned off in here, right here, if I had it normal, again, we can see it in our world here. There it is behind our player. But if I hit play, it'll hide it. And now if I hit the shift button, it'll show up like it's supposed to. And if I let go and shift, you see it's working the way it's supposed to. Okay, so to fix that other thing, if we didn't want to have it visible, if we didn't want to have it here all the time and in our world, we didn't because it's bugging you or something like that, you can always uncheck it here, hide it, compile it. Now, actually, let's go into our event graph. Right in here, we can do the same thing that we did here. We can pull off of this, and we can now set visibility, okay? And we can set visibility. Since we already have it, we're just going to pull this one because we're going to set that visibility like that. Connect this up, and the new visibility will be true. We want to be able to see it because kind of opposite. This is new hidden. This is new visibility. We want to hide it at the beginning, but we want it to be visible as well at the beginning. So kind of different ideas there, right? Now I'm going to pilot. Now if I go to play, it's not visible. But if I hold the shift button down, it shows up just like it's supposed to. And the tail moves around, and it disappears when the boost is all gone. All right, so last thing we're going to do. And again, this part was optional because you could either have the tail turn on or off, like I showed you in visibility. The last thing we're going to do, these sections here, so this here is all part of setting up so that we set up our player. So we're going to comment this, and this is going to be called boost interaction. Okay, I'm going to make this a yellow color just so I can see it. It stands out. Okay. And then this right here, we're going to comment that. And this is going to be set up boost in HUD. I'm going to make that a purple color, so like purple like that. And then this one right here, I am going to drag it just a little bit over. Hit C for comment on that. And this one will be refill boost. I'm going to make that the same purple color right there. Compile and save it. So now we have boost, we have graphical representation in our HUD, and we also have it so that the player has a FireTrail that turns on and off when we are boosting. And that's it for this tutorial. Again, if you liked what you saw, please like the tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe. If you have any problems, please hit me up in the comment section. Again, you can use whatever particle system you're wanting to use, but I don't know all of the ones that are out there or the ones that you're going to download, so I may not have a exact solution for whatever particle system you decide to use, but I will at least point you in the right direction if I can. Make sure you subscribe. Thanks for playing. I'll see you next time.